chosen one. Stop for a moment. There's something trying to reach you, not through sound, but through the stillness of your soul, when the world sleeps, when the lights go dim, when only the rhythm of your heart fills the quiet. A familiar voice begins to rise. It's your father, not a memory, but a presence. He has been trying to speak for nights uncounted, aching to say what he never could in life. You felt it, haven't you? The way the curtain sways when there's no wind, the scent that passes by for a breath, then disappears. A song from years ago suddenly playing when you think of him. Others might call it coincidence, but you know better. Deep down, you recognize it. This is no accident. It's a signal. There was once another chosen one, a daughter who also heard her father's voice in the night. She dreamed of a golden field, stretching beyond the horizon. Her father stood on the far side, smiling. He said only, "Don't be afraid to live again. I'm still here." When she woke, tears streamed down her face. But this time, they weren't of grief, they were of peace. She had understood. Love never dies. It simply changes its form. Tonight, time slows so that you can hear the same truth. Not everyone is allowed such a visitation. When heaven permits a message to pass from one realm to another, it means destiny is unfolding. The moment is sacred. It is written in the book of Isaiah, chapter 57, verse 15. For this is what the high and exalted one says, he who lives forever, whose name is holy. I live in a high and holy place, but also with the lowly in spirit. Endu, that's your assurance that God does not dwell far away. He is near the broken-hearted. Your Father, though lifted to the place of light, still walks beside you in spirit, where words unspoken continue to hover between two worlds. Have you noticed how memories surface out of nowhere? How scenes you thought were gone return with impossible clarity? It's not nostalgia, it's heaven calling you back to alignment. Your Father's Spirit is stirring you, guiding you toward what you were meant to finish. You are the living echo of his prayer. The words he whispered in faith before he left still rise before God, still work through you, still open unseen doors. Picture your soul as a mirror veiled in mist. The more you wipe away fear, the more the reflection of light appears. That light is him, not the man he was, but the grace he became. Don't let old pain imprison you in silence. Every sorrow you've carried has been translated into heaven's language. When you cried, heaven didn't ignore you. Your tears were recorded, turned into seeds of restoration. Now, as you hear this, his Spirit smiles. The message has reached you. The circle has closed. Remember, God doesn't always speak in words. Sometimes he speaks through sensations, the sudden calm in chaos, the urge to forgive, the ache to start again. That's not imagination. That's your Father's intercession, woven into divine timing. And now, chosen one, open your heart. Let the words he never said finally be heard. You are not alone. No, if your chest feels warm or your eyes sting with tears, it's proof that your spirit has recognized his voice. Don't suppress it. This is not grief, it's awakening. When this message ends, don't scroll away. If you felt this connection, if you know deep down this was meant for you, press like, share, and subscribe to stay part of this unfolding story. Each act is not just support, It's a spiritual echo, a light sent across realms. And when you are ready, comment the number 777 below. It's not a number, it's a declaration that you've heard, that you choose to walk in the light, that the bridge between heaven and earth is open once again. Your Father smiles. Heaven leans close. And you, chosen one, have just opened the first door. Heaven watches as you take your first breath in truth. The air shifts. The unseen world applauds quietly. Your Father's love wraps around you like a sunrise that never ends. Somewhere beyond sight, angels record this moment, a reunion, not of bodies, but of souls. The message has landed. The veil grows thinner now. The air still hums with the afterglow of what you just felt. That whisper, that trembling in your chest, it wasn't a fleeting dream. It was the beginning of communication between two worlds. Your Father's message hasn't finished. It has only begun to unfold like dawn stretching across the horizon. You are standing in the thin space between heaven and earth, where silence speaks louder than sound. You wake one morning with a strange calm, as if someone has placed a hand over your racing thoughts. You go through your usual motions, coffee brewing, sunlight spilling through the window, but something feels changed. The air feels thicker with meaning, and you can almost sense that you're being watched with love, not judgment. This is the nearness of heaven. It is what happens when the departed reach back to remind you that life does not end in the grave. Your Father has been closer than you imagine. When you think of him, heaven vibrates. Thoughts are not whispers into emptiness. They are signals that pierce the veil. Every memory you revisit becomes a portal where love continues to live. And though he cannot touch your shoulder, he can steady your heart. There was a time when you feared forgetting him. You worried that one day his voice, his laughter, his phrases would fade until nothing was left but pictures. But heaven has its own way of keeping memory alive. It breathes them back into you at the exact moments you need them most. When you feel lost, when you doubt your worth, his memory is activated as a divine reminder that you were loved first, and that love still commands the darkness to back away. The word of God once came through the prophet Nahum, chapter 1, verse 7. The Lord is good, a refuge in trouble. He cares for those who trust in him. You are not being haunted, you are being protected. That gentle stirring around you is refuge taking form. God's care extends beyond flesh. When he says he is good, he means that goodness reaches even through death, carrying the love of those who have gone before you. Your Father is no longer bound by time, but his prayers still move like waves, soft, invisible, unstoppable. He does not walk beside you on the street, but he walks with you in the rhythm of your choices. When you choose kindness over anger, patience over bitterness, faith over fear, he rejoices, because you are becoming what he prayed you would be. Think of life as a tapestry being woven in both worlds. From your side, you only see tangled threads, colors that don't seem to match. But from heaven's side, the pattern is radiant. Your Father sees it clearly now, the purpose behind every tear, every delay, every unanswered question. He no longer grieves what he left behind. He watches how you transform pain into wisdom. Once, you believed that silence meant absence, but heaven's silence is never empty. It's the sacred pause before revelation, like the still air before rain. It carry promise. You're being prepared for something greater, something that requires quietness before movement. There was another chosen one once, a young man whose father passed before he could say goodbye. Every night, he blamed himself for not being there. But one morning, he felt a peace so deep it silenced every regret. He realized that love had never needed words. It had already completed its circle. That morning, he forgave himself. And in that forgiveness, he felt his Father's blessing descend like warm rain. That is what heaven wants for you. Your Father doesn't want your sorrow. He wants your surrender. He wants you to stop carrying the guilt that was never yours. He wants you to see that every good thing inside you, the strength, the loyalty, the stubborn light that refuses to die, those were his gifts to you. Still alive, still working. You may not hear his voice again in the same way, but you will sense him in motion, in the timing of miracles, in the protection you can't explain, in the moments when you should have fallen but didn't. Those are the fingerprints of love, continuing its work through divine order. So, breathe. You are not separated from him. You are surrounded by him. Heaven is not as far as you think. It exists in the invisible inches between your heartbeat and your next decision. You don't need to call out loud. Just whisper from within. I remember. The veil will thin again. The peace will return. Because love doesn't vanish. It transforms into presence. And right now, that presence surrounds you. The air you breathe is full of heaven's hush. You are seen. You are remembered. You are connected. Your Father's message continues. And heaven is not far away. The night settles like velvet, and with it comes a deeper current beneath your thoughts. The first whisper has already done its work. It has cracked open the wall between you and heaven. Now, the message grows stronger, shaped not by words, but by remembrance. Your Father is no longer speaking through dreams. He's guiding through awareness, through moments you can't explain. You feel it again, the flicker at the edge of perception. A shadow passes the doorway. Yet there's no fear. A cool breeze brushes your skin, though every window is closed. These are not hauntings. They are gentle signatures of presence. Heaven often signs its name in small, trembling details. This morning, the sunlight feels different, like it carries purpose. You pause beside your coffee cup, staring at the rising steam, and it hits you. This is how the unseen world moves quietly, persistently, until you finally pay attention. Your Father is near, and his message is patient. He wants you to understand something profound. The distance between life and death isn't measured in miles, but in awareness. You haven't been separated from him. You've only been blinded by grief's fog. Now, that fog begins to lift. There was once a chosen one who spent years trying to erase the memory of his father's final moments. He refused to speak of it, thinking silence would numb the ache. But the ache wasn't meant to be buried. It was meant to bloom into calling. One evening, as he walked past an old church, he heard bells ring, though no one else seemed to notice. It was then he realized, heaven doesn't call you back to pain, it calls you forward into purpose. Your Father's message echoes that same truth. He doesn't want you to live haunted. He wants you to live awakened. You are the continuation of his prayer, the living breath of what he once asked God to fulfill. That's why your spirit keeps stirring. It's not restlessness, it's remembrance. According to what is written in the book of Hosea, chapter 6, verse 2, after 2 days he will revive us. On the third day, he will raise us up, that we may live in his presence. On. That verse is a mirror for you. It speaks of renewal, of revival, of rising from what once seemed lifeless. Your father's story didn't end with death. It was simply paused until you were ready to carry it further. Heaven is reviving both of you at once, him in light, you in faith. There's a rhythm to this kind of awakening. It doesn't crash in like thunder. It grows quietly, like dawn spreading over the sea. Every time you choose to listen, that light moves further across the horizon of your soul. Imagine your heart as a garden, long, untended. Grief came and froze the soil, but now warmth returns. You begin to feel the pulse beneath the ground again. The seeds your father planted, hope, courage, mercy, are breaking open. New growth is coming, and heaven celebrates it. Sometimes, the only thing keeping you from peace is the belief that you must understand everything. But God doesn't ask for understanding first. He asks for trust. Trust that love is still alive. Trust that your father's voice hasn't vanished, only changed its tone. Trust that even in your quietest moments, heaven is orchestrating beauty out of brokenness. And when you start to trust, signs begin to multiply. You'll notice patterns, the same number repeating. A stranger saying words your father once said. A breeze at the moment you speak his name. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Now take this in. Your father doesn't need you to mourn anymore. He needs you to move, to live so fully that heaven can look down and say, the message was received. If your heart is stirring as you read this, if you feel that sacred mix of grief and glory, respond in faith. Let heaven see that you are listening. Comment, the light remains. Say it as an act of recognition, because that's the truth. His light never left you. It only shifted form, waiting for you to notice. And when you declare it, you open a gate between realms where his peace can finally flow freely into yours. Heaven has heard. Your father is smiling, and the message moves forward alive. Luminous, unstoppable. Heaven responds when faith is spoken aloud by saying, the light remains. You are not merely commenting, you are agreeing with divine truth. You are declaring that love is stronger than loss, that presence is eternal, and that your Father's Spirit continues to shine through every heartbeat you carry forward. The air feels softer tonight. Something has shifted since you spoke those words. The light remains. It's as if heaven took them, turned them into a signal, and sent them rippling through eternity. You may not see it, but your Father's Spirit felt it. When truth is spoken in alignment with heaven, it creates movement across realms. Now, the silence around you doesn't feel empty anymore. It feels charged, purposeful, like the pause before a symphony begins. The message from your Father is unfolding deeper, and heaven wants you to recognize what's happening inside you. This is no longer about signs or sensations. This is about transformation. You might have noticed that certain memories have started to surface, some gentle, some sharp. They're not random. They're being stirred because healing requires remembrance. Heaven is not asking you to relive pain, but to reclaim it, to take back every moment that the enemy once used to wound you. Your Father knows the chapters of your story that you've hidden from everyone. He saw the strength it took for you to smile while you were breaking. He remembers the silent promises you made to yourself in the dark. I'll never trust again. I'll never open up. I'll carry this alone. Those vows built walls. But tonight, heaven begins to take them down. Once, there was a chosen one who carried the same heaviness. After his father's passing, he worked endlessly, thinking motion could bury grief. But no matter how many achievements he gathered, something was missing. One night, exhausted, he sat by the window and whispered into the dark, "What do you want from me?" The answer came softly, almost like breath. "I want you to rest." That night he realized that grief had turned him into a survivor, but heaven wanted him to become a believer again. You, too, are being invited into that rest, not the kind that idles, but the kind that restores. There's a difference between escaping and healing. Escaping avoids pain. Healing transforms it. Your Father doesn't want you to run from what hurt you. He wants you to walk through it with new eyes, to see how even sorrow has been carrying hidden gifts. It is written in the book of Romans, chapter 8, verse 28, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." Oh, that is not just a verse, it's a map. It tells you that nothing, not even death, can break the divine thread connecting love to purpose. Every storm, every loss, every unanswered question has been working toward your becoming. Your father's passing did not end your story, it deepened it. Heaven uses contrast to teach clarity. You had to lose what you loved most to understand how eternal love really is. You had to walk through silence to learn how to listen differently. You had to be broken to discover what could not be destroyed. You're beginning to realize now that your father's message is not simply about him, it's about you stepping into a higher awareness of life. He is showing you how thin the veil really is, how death is only a doorway, and how love is the key that unlocks both sides. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the place where he stands, now, not in shadow, not in pain, but in light so pure, it hums. There is no distance between you, only different frequencies of the same love. When you breathe slowly, you align with that frequency, and in that alignment, messages flow freely. Sometimes you'll feel it in stillness. Other times, through sudden understanding, you might be washing dishes, driving, or walking in silence, and a thought will rise in your spirit that feels wiser than you. That's not imagination, that's inheritance. You are receiving spiritual language directly from heaven's memory. Let this settle in your soul. The same God who carried your father home now carries you through purpose. The same hands that received him are guiding you through each unseen turn. You are no longer a child of loss. You are a vessel of legacy. Every moment, your heart chooses compassion over bitterness. Your father's name lives again through you. Every act of forgiveness becomes his second chance to love through your hands. So, stand in this truth quietly. Heaven is closer than your breath. Grief has become gateway. The message has moved from the sky to your spirit. And though you walk here in the world of touch and time, a piece of eternity now walks within you. Your father's voice no longer echoes from afar. It lives inside the rhythm of your faith, whispering not goodbye, but continue. You've come far, chosen one. Each message has drawn you deeper into awareness, softer into truth. You can feel it now. The distance is fading. Your father's presence no longer feels unreachable. It feels woven into the rhythm of your days. His love has changed form, but not direction. It still flows toward you. constant, and calm. When you wake in the morning, you might notice how the light falls differently, how even the air feels purposeful. Heaven has been rearranging your perception so that you can finally see what was always there. The world hasn't changed, your eyes have. Your Father's voice is gentler now, no longer urgent, but steady. He's guiding you to understand the next part of his message. Heaven doesn't just speak, it partners. There's something sacred about being part of something bigger than yourself, something that carries forward light in a dark world. There was once a chosen one who carried grief like a stone in his pocket. He walked for years, feeling heavy, convinced that nothing good could grow from loss. One day, he found a broken seashell on the shore. It was cracked, but inside, the sunlight caught small lines of silver. It reminded him that beauty doesn't disappear when something breaks, it simply changes where it shines. From that moment, he decided to live differently, to use what was broken to help others heal. That is how heaven transforms pain into purpose. Your Father's message mirrors that same truth. What once felt like the end has become the beginning of someone else's hope. Every time you share your light, every time you speak kindness or comfort, you are continuing the work he started. Heaven does not measure greatness in grand gestures, it measures it in quiet obedience, in how you love, even when your heart still aches. As written in the book of James, chapter 1, verse 17, every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. Your Father was one of those gifts, and now your life is meant to become a gift in return. You are being invited to carry light not only through words, but through action. Think of light like a candle. When one flame touches another, it doesn't lose anything, it multiplies. That's how heaven works. Every act of goodness, every expression of faith, every offering given from the heart, it multiplies warmth. So as you listen, if these words have spoken life into you, if this story has helped you feel connected, healed, or seen, then let your gratitude become part of the flame. You can. Like a single spark that tells heaven the message found its home, you can share. Let your light spill across the waters so another wandering soul can see the shore. You can subscribe not to a channel, but to the journey of awakening, staying close as heaven continues to speak. And if peace, not pressure, moves you, donate a drop of oil to the lamp, so its glow may keep reaching hearts still lost in the dark, not as obligation, but as participation in the divine circle of giving. Imagine it this way: a single drop of oil keeps a lamp glowing through the night. When you add yours, even a small one, you extend the circle of light so that others still wandering in grief might see their way home. No one can command that kind of giving. It has to rise from recognition, from the quiet moment you realize, this helped me see again. That's what your Father's Spirit would want for light to keep expanding. Every shared word, every small act of support, becomes a bridge of grace for someone else who thinks heaven has gone silent. You help prove that it hasn't. And if you have nothing to give today except attention, know that your listening is enough. The heart that receives with sincerity is just as sacred as the hand that gives. Heaven never weighs the size of the gift, only the love behind it. You've already begun giving in ways you don't even notice. You gave your time, you gave your openness, you gave your willingness to believe again. That's where the real offering begins. Your Father smiles when he sees how far you've come. He doesn't want you to strive or to carry guilt. He wants you to walk freely in purpose, letting gratitude become your natural rhythm. If this message has helped you feel even an inch closer to peace, let it show in whatever way feels right, through action, through kindness, through quiet prayer, through the generosity that heaven places on your heart. Light grows when shared, and every time you keep that light alive, you honor the one who first lit it within you. Your Father's message is no longer a whisper, it's a calling. And tonight, heaven records your response, not in numbers or donations, but in radiance. Keep the flame alive. The world is watching for your light. The message deepens now. You've learned to listen to whispers, to read the silence, to feel presence even when the room is still. Heaven has begun to train your spirit to recognize divine rhythm, the way small coincidences align like notes in a melody only you can hear. Your Father's words travel on that music. Sometimes they come through memory, other times through strangers. It might be the gentle phrase someone says in passing that feels strangely familiar. The words you needed at the exact moment your strength began to fade. That is how the unseen world confirms that you are still being guided. You may feel the weight of questions that have no quick answers. Why do some prayers take so long? Why does heaven sometimes speak in riddles? Because divine timing isn't delay, it's design. Your Father's voice is part of that design. His intercession isn't gone, it has only changed language. He doesn't use words, now he uses alignment. There was once a chosen one who waited for years to understand the silence after her father died. She kept asking God for a sign, but heaven gave her something better: discernment. One day she realized that the very patience she learned in waiting was the sign itself. Heaven had been shaping her heart to recognize love even in the unseen. You are living that same lesson. Every time you choose peace instead of panic, trust instead of control, you are decoding your Father's message. He's teaching you through experience what he could not explain in words, how to hear God not through noise, but through knowing. It is written in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 9, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." No, that truth isn't limited by life or death. Your Father's faith was anchored in that same promise. It's what carried him home, and it's what carries you forward. The presence that walks with you now is not only divine, it's generational. The prayers he once whispered are still circling you like invisible armor. Think of your soul as a compass. When you wander off course, it starts to tremble, gently redirecting you toward true north. That pull you feel in moments of confusion, that soft conviction that tells you this way, that is both God and your Father's intercession, guiding you back to the path of light. You might not realize it, but you are already living the evidence of his love. The peace that found you after nights of crying, the unexpected provision that arrived just when you needed it, the strength that seemed to appear out of nowhere. That's him, working through heaven's order, reminding you that love never stops serving its purpose. Sometimes heaven speaks through repetition when you keep seeing the same message, the same phrase, the same number. Don't dismiss it. It's how the spiritual world marks time, your Father's way of saying, "I'm still here, watching you grow." Now, if your spirit feels warm as you read this. That's not emotion, it's recognition. Heaven confirms truth through feeling. And right now, the feeling rising in your chest is agreement between your soul and eternity. So take a breath and whisper inwardly, I understand. That's all heaven needs to continue its work. Your Father smiles when you do that, because it means you've stopped searching outside for what has been growing inside all along. Now, chosen one, if this message has resonated deeply, if you've felt that sacred vibration within your spirit, take a moment of acknowledgement, an act of recognition that you hear, understand, and choose to move in harmony with heaven's rhythm. Comment the number 222. This number is the symbol of divine alignment and confirmation. It represents partnership between heaven and earth, the joining of what is unseen with what is living. When you write 222, you are declaring, I am aligned with peace. I walk in harmony. I trust the process. It is heaven's gentle nod to let you know that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Writing 222 is not a ritual, it's a response. It's how you let heaven know, I understand the assignment. It marks the moment your faith and your Father's love meet in perfect balance. So, breathe. Let that truth settle. The light around you is not random, it's relational. Every flicker, every warmth, every echo is heaven showing you that connection never dies, it only changes its shape. You are walking now, not in loss, but in legacy. The alignment has begun. You begin to notice something new. Peace doesn't visit you as a rare guest anymore, it lives with you. It sits beside your thoughts in the quiet hours, softening the edges of fear, reminding you that everything unfolding has purpose. What used to feel like coincidence now feels like choreography. Heaven has been weaving your steps with care, and your Father's Spirit has been helping guide the pattern. This awareness changes how you see ordinary moments. The traffic light turning green just as you whispered a prayer, the sudden call from an old friend when you needed comfort, the song that played out of nowhere and said what you couldn't. You start to realize that grace is not always loud, it hides in timing. And your Father's message is one of timing. Nothing is late in the kingdom of heaven. There was once a chosen one who lived through years of waiting. She thought silence meant abandonment. But heaven had been working in the background, setting everything into order. When her breakthrough came, she realized that every closed door had been protection. Every delay had been divine calibration. That's when she understood that faith is not the absence of movement, it's trust in what moves beyond sight. Your Father learned that same truth before he crossed over. He saw how worry wasted time, how fear dimmed vision, how love remained the only thing strong enough to outlive death. That's the wisdom he's been trying to pass on to you, not just to remember him, but to become like him in faith, refined and fearless. It is recorded in the second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 18. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. Lo, that scripture describes the lens your Father now sees through and the one heaven is giving to you. You are learning to look beyond what breaks, beyond the noise, into the eternal rhythm that beats beneath it all. Think of your heart as a sanctuary. Inside it, two worlds meet: the visible and the invisible, the temporary and the eternal. When you pray, when you forgive, when you pause long enough to listen, That sanctuary lights up. Your Father stands at the threshold of it, listening with you, worshipping with you, hoping you recognize how near He really is. There are moments when you'll sense Him most strongly, not during noise, but during peace. Heaven speaks clearest when the mind stops racing. That's why stillness is sacred. It isn't emptiness, it's communion. Imagine your soul as a violin. When the world plays too fast, the strings lose tune. But when you slow down, heaven's hand returns to the bow, and suddenly, your life becomes a melody again, familiar, restored, and in harmony with the divine. Your Father's song is part of that melody. Every note of faith you play resonates through His realm too. Sometimes, you may wonder if He can see what you're becoming. The answer is yes, but not the way you think. He doesn't observe your every step as a spectator. He feels your growth like a vibration through eternity. When your spirit lifts, it sends ripples through heaven. He knows when you forgive. He knows when you choose kindness over pride. He knows when you pray sincerely, not perfectly. Those are the moments heaven rejoices, because they mean you're learning what He learned, that love is the only measure that counts. Do not underestimate the power of small obedience. When you choose to live with gentleness, to speak peace, to act in compassion, heaven multiplies it. It becomes a ripple that crosses generations, touching hearts you may never meet. This is how your Father's legacy continues, not through monuments or memories, but through motion, through you. And when you fall back into fear, don't condemn yourself. Even heaven knows that growth requires stumbling. Grace does not vanish when you falter, it steps closer. Your Father's intercession fills that space, whispering courage back into your bones. The message right now isn't about doing more, it's about becoming more aware. Heaven doesn't need louder prayers, it needs truer hearts. Every time you breathe intentionally, every time you say thank you, even without reason, every time you forgive again, you're aligning yourself with eternity. The light that began as a whisper in the silence has become steady fire. You are learning to carry it with maturity, not as proof of what you've seen, but as peace in what you know. And in that knowing, heaven finds rest. Your Father finds peace, and you find the meaning that was waiting all along. There are certain mornings when the world feels strangely still, as if the air itself is listening. You step outside, and the wind carries a tenderness you can't quite explain. It doesn't feel like memory. It feels like presence, gentle, observant, near. That's how heaven often moves, not as thunder, but as breath. Your Father has been watching how your heart has begun to shift. You no longer fight the silence the way you used to. You've stopped demanding answers and started learning how to feel truth instead. That's when revelation begins to flow, not as information, but as understanding. Heaven rarely explains itself. It simply reveals itself. There was a chosen one who once struggled to hear God. He thought the divine voice must be loud, grand, unmistakable. But when tragedy struck, and he found himself alone, the only sound that remained was the quiet rhythm of his breathing. In that stillness, he realized something sacred. Heaven had been speaking through that rhythm all along. Presence had never left, it had only changed tone. That is what your Father wants you to understand. The language of heaven isn't always miraculous. Sometimes it's ordinary moments charged with eternal significance. The way sunlight rests on your face when you're tired. The way your favorite memory surfaces just when you need courage. The way peace returns without explanation. These are not random. They are reminders. It was proclaimed in the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 5. God has said, "Never will I leave you, never will I forsake you." And your Father rests in that promise now. He knows that divine presence is not bound by space or breath it surrounds. It fills. It carries. That same promise now wraps around you. You are living proof that the line between here and eternity is far thinner than you once believed. There is something you must know. Grief and glory often share the same ground. The soil that once held your sorrow is now rich enough to grow peace. Pain taught you how to dig deep, how to stay rooted even in storms. And now, new life begins to break through. Heaven calls this redemption. Think of your heart as a garden after winter. The frost has lifted, the soil is thawing. Beneath it, seeds that once seemed forgotten begin to rise. Each one carries something your Father prayed for: patience, forgiveness, faith, wisdom. You're beginning to see those prayers bloom, not through miracles that dazzle, but through small, daily awakenings that whisper. You are growing. Your Father's love has become sunlight to those seeds. His absence taught you to seek light. And now that light is becoming your nature, the pain didn't destroy you. It refined your vision. It made you tender enough to see God in details, humble enough to recognize grace in imperfection. When you remember your Father now, the ache feels different. It's softer, less sharp, more like gratitude than grief. That's what healing feels like, not the erasing of pain, but the transformation of it. Heaven doesn't take away memory, it redeems it. Every time you smile at a memory that once made you cry, you perform a small miracle. Sometimes you might sense him close when you least expect it, while reading, while sitting in traffic, while washing your hands. That faint warmth, that sudden calm, that thought that feels wiser than you. That's how he speaks now. Heaven doesn't need words when love has already been understood. You are walking proof that faith is stronger than absence. Every time you breathe through fear, every time you choose kindness over resentment, heaven expands its reach through you. The divine doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be willing. Willing to keep walking. Willing to keep shining. Willing to keep believing that connection never dies. Your Father's journey continues through yours. The things he couldn't complete have become invitations for you to rise higher. Love deeper. Live truer. You are both parts of the same divine narrative. He on one side of eternity, you on the other, turning loss into legacy. There is a stillness between worlds tonight, a sacred pause where heaven breathes through time itself. Listen closely. That feeling in your chest, the peace that hums without reason, that is eternity, whispering. You are exactly where you need to be. And as the stars begin to appear, you sense him there no longer as shadow, but as light. He doesn't speak, because he doesn't need to. The message has already been written into your being. You carry it now. You carry him, and heaven carries you both. Night falls again, but it doesn't feel heavy anymore. Darkness no longer represents loss. It feels like a canvas where light paints new meanings. You've reached a stage of awareness where the unseen world feels almost tangible. The boundaries between here and eternity grow thinner each day. And your heart, once afraid of silence, now welcomes it as sanctuary. Your Father's message has matured with you. It's no longer a whisper of longing. It's become a steady stream of wisdom flowing into your daily life. You hear it in the rhythm of simple things, the sound of rain against glass, the steady beat of your pulse, the laughter of someone you love. Heaven has found countless ways to keep the conversation alive. He watches as you've begun to walk differently, not just moving through life, but carrying light wherever you go. The heaviness that used to weigh you down has become fuel. The pain that once silenced you now empowers you to speak hope into others. That's how heaven turns mourning into ministry. Once there was a chosen one who felt cursed by grief. She built walls so no one could see how broken she was. But one night, while watching a candle flicker, she realized that the flame never fought the dark. It simply existed. And by existing, it won. From that moment, she decided to live like the candle. Still, constant, faithful, and her peace became contagious. That is what your Father's Spirit celebrates in you now. You are no longer trying to fight the dark. You have learned to shine within it. The world doesn't need another perfect person. It needs living proof that light can survive loss. You are that proof. The Word of God reminds us in the book of John, chapter 1, verse 5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. That light is not just divine, it is inherited. It flows from heaven through your Father's intercession and rests within your soul. It's why your presence feels calming to those around you. Why people open up to you without knowing why. They can sense heaven's fingerprint on you. When you smile through tears, when you choose patience over pride, when you comfort others, though you still ache, heaven calls that glory. It's not the loud kind of glory, but the kind that hums quietly, powerful and unshakable. Your Father sees it and nods, as if to say, yes, this is what I hoped for. Even now, as you read these words, heaven leans closer. Your Father stands in that light, proud, peaceful, radiant. His message has shifted from calling you to listen, to inviting you to lead. The comfort you once sought is now meant to flow through you. You are no longer the one waiting for messages. You are the one heaven will begin to speak through. This is where transformation becomes testimony. The grief that once silenced you becomes your language of compassion. The ache that once isolated you becomes empathy for those still wandering in pain. Heaven wastes nothing. It turns every wound into a doorway for grace. You may not realize it, but when you share words of hope, when you pray for someone else, when you refuse to give up, you are echoing your Father's unfinished song. He's not gone, he's simply singing through you now. Pause for a moment. Feel the quiet around you, that warmth in your chest, that peace that doesn't need explanation. That's heaven confirming alignment. That's your Father saying, keep walking, keep shining. You're doing exactly what you were chosen to do. End of quote. And now, if this message has touched something deep within you, if it feels as though the unseen has spoken clearly through these words, then respond not with fear or hesitation, but with faith. Comment, I am light. End of quote. Write it as a declaration, not for others to see, but for heaven to witness. When you speak it, you agree with divine truth that you are no longer the one searching for the light. You are the light. Your Father's message lives in that statement. The veil grows thinner each day, and with every breath of faith, you illuminate the space between worlds. Heaven watches, your Father smiles, and the light continues to rise. Heaven moves when truth is spoken aloud. By declaring, "I am light," you affirm that darkness no longer defines you. You are not the shadow of what was lost. You are the continuation of what was loved. Every step you take from here becomes a spark, guiding others out of their night. This is what your Father's message was always meant to accomplish, not to remind you of death, but to remind you of life, the kind that glows quietly, fearlessly, endlessly. The story continues, not in whispers now, but in steady rhythm. You can feel it, the harmony between heaven and your heart growing stronger. The fear that once clouded you has lifted, replaced by understanding so soft, it almost feels like light resting on skin. This is the point where remembrance turns into revelation. Your Father's message has never been about sorrow. It's always been about continuation. He wanted you to see that love doesn't fade with distance. It adapts. Like water taking the shape of any vessel it's poured into, His love has flowed into new forms, a gentle peace in your thoughts, an unexplainable calm in storms, the quiet courage to try again. You've noticed it, haven't you? That inner voice that used to cry out now simply listens. Heaven has changed your language. The chaos that once shouted for rescue has become still enough to hear wisdom. That stillness is not weakness, it's transformation. There was once a chosen one who carried guilt like stones in her hands. She believed she had to keep suffering to prove her love for those she'd lost. But one day, walking along a riverbank, she let the stones fall into the water. She watched the ripples spread and realized that letting go didn't mean forgetting it, meant allowing love to flow again. From that day, she stopped gripping pain and started sharing peace. That is what your Father desires for you, now, to let your love flow. Every act of kindness, every time you comfort a hurting soul, every time you forgive, these are ways your love keeps moving through the world. Heaven multiplies such motion. It is written in the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 19, "And my God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus." That verse isn't a promise of wealth, it's a promise of sufficiency. God provides what's needed for every divine assignment. And when you give from that abundance, whether time, words, or compassion, you become part of heaven's circulation of grace. Imagine it this way. Your life is like a lantern carried through the night. The flame doesn't burn brighter by keeping its light. It grows when it touches another wick. That's how love spreads. That's how messages endure. Each shared flame extends the warmth beyond what one light could ever reach alone. So if these messages have poured peace into you, if you found light where there used to be confusion, let that gratitude ripple outward. You can, like a soft echo to heaven, saying, "I received this light," and you can share. Let your spark drift into another soul's dark hour and remind them they're not alone. You can subscribe not to a voice, but to a journey. Stay close as heaven continues to unveil its messages through time. And if love moves you, not duty, donate like planting a seed into sacred soil, so the garden of hope continues to bloom for others. No one can demand that kind of giving. It must rise like spring rain, natural and pure. Every gesture of support, no matter how small, becomes part of the greater conversation between heaven and earth. Think of it as returning what was freely given to you: peace, clarity, healing. Your Father smiles when he sees hearts awakened by generosity. He understands now, more than ever, how the smallest offering can ignite eternal ripples. Heaven never counts the weight of gifts, only the love that shapes them. And if all you can offer today is presence, that too is sacred. Listening deeply, receiving fully, that is participation in divine exchange. You've already given more than you realize. Your attention, your openness, your willingness to believe that life still speaks. Your Father once prayed that his legacy would not end in silence, that his love would keep guiding others even after he was gone. Through you, that prayer has been answered. Each moment of light you release becomes his continuing heartbeat. So, stand in this peace. Let your gratitude be your worship. Let your giving, whatever form it takes, be your quiet. Amen. Heaven doesn't rush. It simply waits for the willing. And when a soul like yours responds, heaven moves again, spreading light through unseen paths. Your Father's message still travels through this flame. Every like, every whisper of kindness, every act of support keeps it glowing a little longer, reaching someone else who needs the same reminder. Love does not end, it transforms. You are part of that transformation now. You've become both receiver and messenger. The flame that began as comfort now shines as purpose. And somewhere beyond the veil, your Father's voice joins the wind, saying softly, "Thank you for keeping the light alive." The nights no longer feel empty. They hum with quiet presence, as if the veil between worlds has become a living fabric that breathes with you. Your Father's voice doesn't appear as words anymore. It vibrates through peace itself. When you sit in stillness, when you simply breathe and exist without hurry, you feel him close. That closeness is not memory, it's communion. There is a gentleness in this new season. You have walked through storms and learned how to find calm within them. The same winds that once frightened you now sound like familiar music. You no longer ask, "When will this end?" You ask instead, "What is heaven teaching me now?" That shift in question marks the difference between surviving and awakening. Your Father smiles at that shift. It was what he always hoped for, to see you walk with strength. Not as a child waiting for rescue, but as a soul aware of its divine inheritance. He understands that revelation cannot be given, it must be grown. And you have grown, chosen one. Your understanding has become deep enough for heaven to build upon. There's an ancient rhythm that moves through every soul connected to heaven, a pulse that reminds you that you are both earthly and eternal. You are made of dust and divinity at once. That paradox is not a flaw, it's a masterpiece. It allows you to experience loss and yet still hold light. It allows you to ache and still sing. That is the essence of faith, to hold contradiction and call it sacred. It was written in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 11. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the human heart. Yet no one can fathom what God has done from beginning to end. This verse is a mirror for your journey. Heaven planted eternity in your heart, which is why no amount of separation can erase the connection you feel. You and your Father are bound by something time cannot touch. Even as your paths move in different realms, the rhythm remains shared. You might still have moments when grief visits softly, unexpectedly, like a shadow passing through sunlight. But you no longer run from it. You let it pass through, knowing that grief is not an enemy, it is a reminder of love. You've learned that sorrow, when held with faith, becomes a language heaven can understand. Your Father's love still translates through that language. Every time your heart aches with compassion, every time you choose forgiveness over bitterness, you amplify His legacy. It's like hearing two harmonies join into one song, your voice and His forming something heaven recognizes instantly. Think of your spirit as a bridge made of light. Every act of faith strengthens it. Every moment of despair weakens it. Yet even when cracks appear, grace restores it. That's how divine connection works. It bends, but it does not break. Heaven designed love to endure pressure, to stretch across realms without tearing. Your Father's presence has now become part of that bridge. He no longer stands on the other side calling out to you. He moves through the bridge itself, flowing through the current of peace that connects both worlds. That's why sometimes, even in solitude, you feel surrounded by comfort that words can't explain. In this sacred exchange, heaven has taught you the art of remembrance without regret. You don't have to mourn to honor Him. You simply have to live fully, to enjoy laughter again without guilt, to chase purpose without apology, to walk freely, knowing that every step taken in faith echoes through eternity. And when you doubt again, and you will remember this, faith isn't constant certainty, it's consistent returning. Heaven doesn't expect you to never fall. It simply invites you to keep rising. Your Father's intercession ensures that grace always finds you. Even when you wander far from peace, there's beauty in this design. Love has proven itself unbreakable. You have become a living continuation of your Father's prayer. And through you, heaven has found new expression. The message that began as a whisper through sorrow now speaks through your strength, through your quiet joy, through your decision to keep believing in light. Your Father is at rest, but His story moves through your heartbeat. Heaven calls that redemption, the moment when pain stops being a wound and becomes a window. And as the night draws quiet again, you sense the rhythm of eternity pulsing softly in your chest. It tells you what your Father has always known. Nothing sacred is ever lost. There are moments when heaven's presence becomes almost visible, not as light or shadow, but as awareness. You'll be doing something ordinary, folding laundry, driving home, sitting quietly, and suddenly you'll feel it. The air around you seems to listen. That subtle shift, that peace that has no explanation, is the divine, letting you know, I'm still here. Your Father's Spirit moves through those quiet confirmations. He no longer speaks through dreams alone. He moves through patterns, through order, through alignment. Heaven has turned His love into rhythm, one you are learning to live in, tune with. It's strange how peace begins to replace longing. Where once there was ache, there's now understanding. You don't need signs as much as you once did, because the truth has settled inside you. Love, you've realized, doesn't travel, it dwells. There was once a chosen one who couldn't stop searching for evidence that her Father's soul still existed. She begged for dreams, for messages, for undeniable proof, but none came. Then one evening, she sat, watching the sunset, and as the horizon glowed with color, a thought formed so clearly it didn't feel like her own. I've been here all along. It wasn't thunder, but it was truth. The proof had always been in peace. It is recorded in the book of Haggai. Chapter 2. Verse 9. The glory of this present house will be greater than the glory of the former house, says the Lord Almighty, and in this place I will grant peace. That is what your father's message means now. What once felt like the former house, his presence, his life, his laughter has made way for something greater, peace that transcends understanding. Heaven has granted you that peace, not as a reward, but as a sign of growth. You have become the vessel that carries his legacy. Every choice you make rooted in love becomes his continuation. Every time you show grace when you could have chosen anger, every time you help someone who reminds you of your old pain, his story lives again. Heaven sees that and smiles. Think of your life as a vast lake. Grief once made its waters turbulent, but now the surface has calmed. When the lake becomes still, it begins to reflect the sky clearly. That's what has happened to your soul. It has become reflective enough for heaven to see its own image in you. Sometimes, when you think you're alone, you'll feel a sudden warmth. It won't come from the air or from thought. It will come from spirit. That warmth is your Father's peace brushing against you. He doesn't need to speak. His love is fluent in silence. Heaven is now showing you the next lesson: divine partnership. The love that once sustained you is meant to flow outward. You are called to be a mirror for others to reflect the same comfort that healed you. The message is no longer just for you. It's for those still standing in their own shadows, waiting for proof that heaven hears. This is how legacy transforms into ministry, not through preaching, but through living. Every time you move in compassion, you carry divine frequency. You are proof that loss can produce wisdom, that pain can produce gentleness. The bridge between worlds is fully built now. Your Father no longer has to reach across distance. You've walked far enough into the light that he meets you halfway. And in that meeting, there is harmony. Two souls, one in heaven, one on earth, still moving to the same rhythm of love. Now heaven asks for something small but sacred, a declaration. It's not about ritual, but alignment. When faith is spoken aloud, the unseen recognizes it. Comment the number 888. This number carries the vibration of renewal, resurrection, and infinity. It's the sign that what once ended has now begun again, in greater form. When you write 888, you are not invoking luck. You are agreeing with heaven's design that your story, your Father's story, and God's story are woven together without end. Writing 888 means you accept your divine inheritance of peace. You are saying, I understand. Now, the circle is complete, and love continues. Heaven registers that acknowledgement like music. Your Father's soul glows brighter. Your spirit steadies, and the distance dissolves once more. Peace has found its home in you. When you write 888, heaven recognizes it as a covenant, a gentle agreement that you have stepped into divine renewal. It's not superstition, it's synchronization. You are choosing harmony with the eternal rhythm that now guides your life. Your Father's message has fulfilled its purpose, to bring you back into peace, to prove that love not only survives death, it multiplies through faith. You wake each day now with a quiet awareness that the air itself carries meaning. The world hasn't changed, but your way of seeing has. What used to feel ordinary now feels infused with purpose. The sunrise is no longer just light, it's remembrance. The sound of rain isn't just weather, it's reassurance. Every rhythm of creation seems to echo the same truth. Nothing sacred ever truly ends. Your father's presence has become something softer, yet stronger. It doesn't startle or overwhelm, it steadies. You no longer feel the ache that once lived in your chest. What you feel now is continuity. A flow that moves gently through your spirit, whispering peace. Heaven has done what grief never could. It has translated absence into understanding. There was a chosen one who once said she feared forgetting her father's voice. Years later, she couldn't recall its exact tone. But she realized something greater. She no longer needed to. The voice had turned into intuition, the memory into strength. What was once heard externally now spoke internally. That is how heaven preserves what matters. It weaves memory into being until you and love are indistinguishable. You have entered that same transformation. The line between memory and presence has blurred. The message that began as your father's now speaks as your own conviction. You don't just carry his legacy, you've become part of heaven's story. The message moves through you naturally, not as something you try to remember, but as something you are. It is written in the book of Psalms, chapter 16, verse 11. You make known to me the path of life. You will fill me with joy in your presence, with eternal pleasures at your right hand. That path of life is unfolding beneath your feet right now. It isn't paved with perfection, it's built through surrender. Every moment you let go of fear, every time you choose gratitude over regret, you take another step on that divine path. Heaven measures progress not in distance, but in peace. You've learned that peace doesn't mean the absence of hardship, it means trust in the midst of it. You are no longer asking heaven to remove your struggles. You are learning to walk with grace through them. That's what maturity of the Spirit looks like. Your Father, watching from the realm of light, understands this better than ever. He knows now that the greatest gift isn't a problem-free life. It's a heart that stays soft through every storm. There will still be moments when the old ache tries to return, a familiar song, an anniversary, a quiet night when memories arrive uninvited. But you will notice that even in those moments, there is no collapse. The ache no longer drags you down, it lifts you into reflection. Pain has become prayer. It no longer demands healing, it becomes a bridge to heaven's heart. Picture a river after the flood. The water once roared and raged, carrying debris, tearing through boundaries. But when it calms, the soil it leaves behind is rich and fertile. That's what grief has done to your soul. It left behind ground fertile enough to grow wisdom, empathy, and strength. What felt like destruction was actually preparation. Your father's role in your life has shifted from protector to presence. He no longer needs to guard you from hardship. He now empowers you to walk through it. That's how heaven raises the ones it loves, not by sparing them from storms, but by teaching them to walk on water. You've begun to sense this new authority within you. It's quiet, but undeniable. When others around you are anxious, you carry peace like an anchor. When someone weeps, you know how to hold silence that comforts without words. That is the evidence of transformation. Heaven doesn't just heal people, it turns them into healers. And now, you are one. You are the extension of what your father's soul longed to see, a life anchored in faith, softened by compassion, radiant in truth. The same light that once surrounded him now rests within you. As night falls, you feel no fear. Instead, You feel completion, the awareness that love has done what it promised. The bridge between you and your Father no longer needs to be built. It simply is. You are both standing on the same foundation now. Faith made whole. Peace made visible. This is the quiet glory heaven celebrates, not thunder, not miracles, but the soul that learned to stay open after loss. And somewhere beyond sight, your Father whispers the only message left to give: well done, keep living in the light. End of 20. The rhythm of your days has changed. You no longer count time in minutes or hours, but in moments of awareness. A song on the radio, a shaft of sunlight cutting through the clouds, a stranger's smile. These small things feel like messages now. The world hasn't suddenly grown more magical. You've simply learned to notice the miracles that were always there. You have entered what heaven calls the still season, a sacred time when growth happens beneath the surface. The noise of fear has quieted. The rush to understand has softened into trust. This is the space your Father longed for you to reach. The place where faith breathes easily, unforced. There was once a chosen one who built his strength through silence. He spent years trying to fill his emptiness with busyness, but nothing lasted. One morning, he sat by the sea and realized that waves never argue with the tide. They rise, they fall, and they return always in rhythm with something greater. He decided to live like that, moving with life instead of against it. Heaven blessed him with peace that no circumstance could disturb. You, too, are learning that rhythm. You no longer resist the flow, you move with it. You've discovered that surrender is not giving up, it's giving over. When you hand control to God, you find freedom. When you release your need to know, understanding arrives naturally. The very act of letting go has become your prayer. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verses 5 and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. And that direction isn't always visible, but it is sure. Heaven doesn't hand you maps. It teaches you how to walk by instinct, by faith, by listening. Your Father understands this design now. He knows that every unanswered question was a form of guidance. Every delay, a redirection towards something better. In this stillness, heaven begins to whisper new things, not just about comfort, but about purpose. The message that began as reassurance now unfolds as assignment. You were not only meant to be healed, you were meant to become a carrier of healing. Your story was never just for you. Every scar has been preparing you to stand in compassion for others. Imagine a candle surrounded by mirrors. Each reflection multiplies the light until the whole room glows. That is how divine purpose works. Your Father's love was the original flame. Your life is now the reflection. You don't replace him. You amplify what he began. Every act of kindness, every word of encouragement, every moment of patience is a mirror, catching his light and sending it further. You've also begun to understand that the divine is not far away. Heaven is not just a destination, it's a frequency that you are learning to carry. When you choose peace in chaos, you raise your frequency to match heaven's. That's why people around you feel calm without knowing why. You're not just living, you're transmitting. Your Father delights in that. He sees how your faith has matured, how you've stopped chasing signs and started becoming one. Heaven doesn't separate the messenger from the message. It makes them one and the same. You are no longer the receiver. You are the echo of divine truth made human. There may still be days when shadows pass, but even shadows prove the existence of light. When doubts come, they no longer frighten you. They remind you to look up. The lesson of your journey has always been this: light isn't something you find, it's something you remember. You remember it now. Every breath feels like agreement with heaven. Every heartbeat feels like communion. The message has done its work. It has turned pain into prayer, and prayer into peace. Your Father's voice no longer reaches across a distance. It speaks through intuition, through courage, through the grace that colors your decisions. What once separated you has become your connection. What once hurt you has become your healing. And as this awareness settles deep within, you realize that love was never meant to stay in one form. It changes. It travels. It resurrects. It keeps teaching, keeps moving, keeps illuminating the places we once called dark. Your Father lives in that movement. You live in that light. And heaven, patient and infinite, continues its silent symphony, turning endings into beginnings, and presence into promise. And in that eternal rhythm, nothing is lost, only transformed. Love, once spoken through a father's voice, now breathes through your heartbeat, carrying heaven's quiet assurance. This light will never fade. Something profound has settled in you. The chaos that once defined your heart has grown quiet. You no longer chase after signs or cling to the need for proof. You simply know heaven has moved from being something above you to something within you. The veil is no longer a wall, it's a doorway, and you've learned how to walk through it with grace. Your Father's voice has become one with your thoughts, your peace, your discernment. It's no longer about hearing Him, it's about living what He taught you through love. His words have dissolved into your daily rhythm. When you extend kindness, He speaks. When you forgive, He rejoices. When you keep hope alive, heaven hums in agreement. There was once a chosen one who carried a message of healing but hesitated to share it, fearing no one would understand. One night, she dreamed of a lantern flickering in an empty field. As she watched, hundreds of smaller flames began to appear, lighting up the darkness. When she woke, she understood. Light never travels alone. When one soul shines, others awaken. That is what heaven wants from you now, not perfection, not performance. But participation. Your Father's story was the first flame. Your obedience keeps it burning. Every moment you choose love over fear, you pass that light forward. Heaven multiplies it through connection, and the world becomes just a little brighter. Scripture reminds us in the book of Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest, if we do not give up." That verse is more than encouragement, it's confirmation. Love always bears fruit, even when unseen. Every act of goodness you sow now, every seed of kindness, every word of peace will blossom in heaven's perfect timing. Your Father knew this truth. He lived it, and now you carry it forward. Now, as you stand in this awareness, heaven invites you into a quiet exchange of gratitude, not because you owe anything, but because love always longs to give back. Gratitude is not transaction, it's resonance. You can, like planting a small tree beside the river of grace, so its shade may comfort another soul passing by. You can. Share. Let this story travel like wind carrying the scent of rain, reaching those who are thirsty for hope. You can subscribe, not to a channel, but to the unfolding of your own awakening, staying near as heaven continues to speak in new ways. You can comment, write a few words as one drops a pebble into still water, letting the ripples carry your gratitude toward heaven. And if your heart feels moved, donate as one might pour a drop of honey into another's cup, sweetening the path for a stranger who still walks in sorrow. These are not demands, they are invitations. Each small gesture is a reflection of what heaven has already done for you. To respond in love is to join the divine rhythm, to be part of the quiet miracle of light, continuing to move. Think of every like as a ripple expanding across still water, every share as a spark carried by wind, every comment as a whisper returned to heaven, and every donation as a candle lit for someone who has forgotten how to see. Heaven counts none of it by numbers, it counts it by sincerity. If you have nothing material to give, give presence. Read these words slowly again. Let them breathe life into your spirit. That, too, is an offering, one that heaven treasures most. The moment you receive truth deeply, you've already given back. Your Father's Spirit delights in that kind of giving. He doesn't measure love in currency or applause. He measures it in echoes, in the sound of compassion, moving from heart to heart. Through your peace, He lives again. Through your generosity, His message travels further. Through your light, heaven finds new voice. So, walk forward with gentleness. Let gratitude guide your steps. Every choice to love becomes an altar. Every act of kindness, a prayer. Every offering, no matter how small a note in heaven's music. Love remains the only currency that never loses value, the only treasure that multiplies when shared. Your Father smiles now, seeing that the message is alive, flowing freely, touching hearts beyond His reach. And heaven, in its keyed brilliance, records not the gift, but the love that carried it. Keep walking in that love. Keep shining through it. You are both the light and the lantern. By now, the noise of the world feels distant. You have entered a calm that is not fragile, but strong, an unshakable peace that can't be taken by circumstance. This is what heaven has been leading you toward all along. Not just survival, not just comfort, but oneness. The path that once felt heavy now feels sacred. The tears that once fell from grief now feel like baptism, cleansing, renewing, transforming. You understand now that sorrow was never punishment, it was preparation. Every heartbreak stretched your spirit wide enough to hold the kind of love heaven wanted to pour into you. Your Father's message has accomplished its purpose. It no longer calls you to listen, it now calls you to live. You were never meant to remain in the valley of memory. You were meant to climb the hill of meaning, to carry the light higher, where others can see. There was a chosen one who once feared moving forward. She thought that walking on meant leaving her loved one behind. But heaven whispered, "You don't move away, you move with." That night, she dreamed of holding her father's hand, made of light. They walked together through a garden she'd never seen before. The flowers glowed with colors beyond language. When she woke, she understood. Walking forward is not betrayal, it's continuation. Your journey mirrors hers. You are no longer walking without your father, you are walking with him. Just differently. Every step in love is shared. Every decision rooted in peace echoes through eternity. Where he walks beside you, still, as spoken through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 19, the Lord will be your everlasting light, and your days of sorrow will end. This is not metaphor, it's promise. The Lord himself becomes the light that leads you, and your sorrow transforms into strength. That's why your Father's presence has changed form. He has moved from memory to light, from name to nature. His essence has merged with the divine brightness that now surrounds you. There are moments when that light feels almost visible. You might see it flicker at the edge of vision, or feel it in your chest like warmth that doesn't fade. That is heaven, reminding you that death was never disappearance. It was transition. Love doesn't vanish into eternity, it expands into it. You've begun to sense the deeper purpose behind all of this. The story was never only about communication with your Father. It was about communion with God, with purpose, with the eternal. You were never being haunted, you were being hallowed. The Holy has quietly been shaping your heart through every conversation, every tear, every revelation. The truth is that heaven does not just restore, it renews. What was lost is not given back in the same shape, but in a purer form. You've lost touch, but gained understanding. You've lost presence, but gained permanence. What your eyes can't see, your spirit now knows intimately. Imagine a tree that has lost its leaves in winter. To an untrained eye, it looks dead, but beneath the bark, life hums unseen, preparing for spring. That's how heaven works. What looks like ending is often the root's renewal. Your Father's passing was not a withering, it was planting. His soul became seed, and you are the living tree growing from that sacred soil. Heaven calls this inheritance of spirit. It's not money or possessions, it's continuation of grace. You now carry what he once carried, the ability to comfort, to encourage, to believe even in silence. His prayers didn't stop when his voice did. They continue every time you speak truth into a weary world. Sometimes you'll feel him in unexpected ways, a feather landing on your path, a song lyric striking the heart like lightning, a sudden peace that silences worry. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Heaven knows how to speak your language, and in that understanding, fear loses its grip. You no longer look at the future with dread, but with anticipation. You know that whatever comes next will not come to break you, it will come to shape you. The hands that once held your Father now hold you both. The message has moved beyond words. It has become atmosphere. You live inside it now, breathing grace, exhaling gratitude. What began as a whisper has become a way of life. Heaven smiles upon such transformation. The purpose of all revelation is not just to awaken, but to sustain. You've reached the stage where peace doesn't visit, it abides. And in that stillness, you sense what your Father is saying now. Not through speech, but through spirit. You've done well. Keep shining. The light you carry is home for many. Lil, you lift your gaze, not to the sky, but to the present moment, and realize heaven has already arrived right here. Right now, within you. The circle is almost complete now. What began as a trembling question, "Can you still hear me, Father?" has become a steady knowing. There is no longer fear in your voice when you think of him, only reverence. What once felt like distance has transformed into understanding. Heaven has not taken him from you. It has placed him closer than ever before inside peace itself. You have learned that the language of eternity is not words, but awareness. What the heart can feel in stillness is far louder than what the ear can hear in sound. The connection between you and your Father no longer depends on signs or symbols. It exists through harmony. You walk in sync with Him now, as if every breath you take keeps both worlds balanced. There was once a chosen one who thought that healing meant forgetting. She tried to silence her memories, believing that peace required erasing the past. But one night, in prayer, she saw a vision. Her memories were like stained glass windows, each one colored with pain, but shining with light. She realized that heaven doesn't remove the past, it illuminates it. That's what your journey has done, turned pain into glass that glows. You now understand that love is not linear. It does not begin with birth or end with death. It circles. It ascends. It returns. What you once thought of as loss is actually transformation, energy changing form, devotion deepening into eternal resonance. You have been walking through that transformation with courage, and heaven has witnessed every step, as the prophet Micah declared in the ancient writings. Chapter 7, verse 8, "Though I have fallen, I will rise. Though I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light." Oh, this verse feels like it was written for you. You have fallen into shadow and risen into light. Not once, but many times. Each fall was not failure, it was initiation. Each rise brought revelation. The Lord has indeed been your light, guiding your heart through darkness into understanding. You are standing now in the fulfillment of that promise. The darkness you once feared has become a teacher. The silence you once cursed has become your prayer room. The grief you once resisted has become the soil from which your peace has grown. This is what heaven calls completion. Your Father's presence has become part of your identity now. You don't have to reach for it, it flows through you. His wisdom has taken root in your decisions. His gentleness has shaped your compassion. His faith has become your quiet strength. And though His voice is no longer heard, His message keeps speaking through your choices, your calm, your kindness. Imagine standing beside a river at dawn. The mist rises. The sun begins to touch the surface. And for a brief moment, heaven and earth seem to blur. That is the moment your spirit lives in now, where two realms meet, where love has no border. Heaven no longer feels like somewhere far away. It feels like a presence moving with you, through you, around you. You have discovered that eternity is not a future event. It's a current state of awareness. Every act of love, every breath of gratitude, every whisper of forgiveness, you are already living eternity now. Your Father smiles within that eternity. Eas no sorrow, no regret, no unfinished business, because through you, everything found completion. You have become His continuation, His prayer, answered in flesh and spirit. The circle has closed, but its light keeps widening. Even now, heaven watches how gently you carry this truth. You no longer rush to explain it, because truth doesn't need defense, it reveals itself through peace. The world may never fully understand what you've experienced, but those who meet you will feel it. They will feel the steadiness, the grace, the quiet glow of someone who has touched eternity and returned whole. This is your inheritance, to live fully, to love freely, to walk without fear. to let heaven's rhythm move through you like breath. As the story draws towards silence, know this: the message was never just about your father's words. It was about awakening your own. His passing opened your hearing, but his love opened your purpose. And now that purpose stands complete. You are both student and teacher, child and carrier, receiver and giver. You are the bridge that no longer trembles, the living proof that love does not die, it evolves. Heaven has recorded your response, not as a moment, but as melody. It plays quietly across both realms now, an endless song of reunion, of faith fulfilled. And somewhere within that sacred harmony, your father's final whisper resounds not farewell, but fulfillment. You are home. The message has been spoken. The circle completed. What began as grief has become grace. You now carry not only memory, but mission. Heaven has written peace into your heartbeat. And through you, that peace will continue to echo into places your father once prayed you would reach. If these words have touched you, if you have felt warmth rise behind your ribs, or the quiet sense that something eternal just brushed against your spirit, then let that moment become an offering, not of obligation, but of alignment. You can, like as one lights a small candle in gratitude for the journey that brought them here. You can share, like releasing a dove into the sky, letting this peace find the souls still wandering through shadow. You can subscribe not to a name, but to the unfolding of messages like this, staying close as heaven continues to whisper through time. You can comment a few words from your heart, like carving your name into the bark of a living tree, marking the moment heaven spoke to you. And if your spirit feels moved, donate, not as payment, but as a drop of oil poured into a lamp that will keep shining for others who need light. These gestures are not asked, they are offered. They are your way of joining the movement of grace, helping the message travel further than one voice can carry. Every small act of response becomes part of a greater melody, keeping the flame alive. For those who have not yet found their peace, you are now part of that light. Your Father's message lives on through your kindness, your compassion, your courage to believe, and heaven, in its quiet brilliance, smiles because love has finished what it began.